Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. Yes, the win-loss pattern is broken. Oh, the atmosphere at the final whistle yesterday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it was like an exorcism had been performed, you know. Half expected that little lady from the Poltergeist movies to walk out into the middle of the centre circle and just go, "This house is clean." It was that kind of feeling. It was like, just relief on everyone. I think even the players as well in their interviews afterwards, you could just feel that finally this daft, unstable would be the word anyone else in the world would use. This unstable run has just finally come to an end, and it was the perfect time to do it. You know, if you're going to do it in a big derby match where both teams are fighting for the top four. And Spurs played well. They were good as well. It wasn't even like it was I wouldn't even say it was I suppose, yes, you could say at points it was a tight game, but actually I felt Spurs controlled it for quite a lot of it. And it absolutely worked perfectly. So actually, a goal born of the creativity of Hugo Lloris. But yeah, Sonny was superb. Really good finish. Took the game away from West Ham. That was it. You just felt the relief for everyone. Sonny's roar, the crowd. It was brilliant. And actually, he's now, those 2 goals have taken up to be the second joint highest scorer in the Premier League. He's got 13 goals. And is actually, if you look at it, he's got a better goal conversion rate than Mohamed Salah, obviously, who's the top scorer. He's got 27% goal conversion rate to Salah's 23%. So there you go. Another little good thing for him. And to be honest, he could have had an assist as well on the day, Son, because he he ran on and played in Kane, didn't he? Kane had that little, maybe slightly heavy touch and then knocked it into Fabianski. I had Sonny as my man of the match yesterday. I think, Kane, Bentancur, Romero also all had very good games and maybe were pushing for that. But I just felt Sonny was the man yesterday. I think that performance kind of defined the match for Tottenham. I do think it did. It was really good. And when he came off, Conte was just like, it was like one of those really funny moments. If you watch the pictures back, we could see him kind of, obviously he's not too far from the press box, you can see down there. He was almost like, I do one of those things. You know what like the crowd do when the goalie's about to take a goal kick, but he was waiting for him to kind of, I think it was Lucas who came on for him. He was waiting for him to pat his hand to do the high five and all of that, and he's just and then he just gave him the biggest. He squeezed him so tight, almost bashed their heads together, and it was just a really nice moment because Conte and Son have got a brilliant relationship. They've really got each other's backs. Conte will not have any. I spliced their names together, didn't I? Conte will have not a bad word said about Son. And I love that. I love it when a manager backs their players. And he did it for him. He gave him a massive hug. Fabio Paratici actually gave him a big hug and was talking away to him at the final whistle as well. Paratici and Son are always doing that. There's lots of videos and photos you see of them around the training ground having chats. A really interesting one. I don't know where that relationship seems to have come out of somewhere as well. But it was brilliant for Sonny. And I think I've got the quotes here because I reminded Conte after the game about him saying it would be crazy to drop Son. And he laughed. And because I said, you said it would be crazy. Was this the perfect example of why you were spot on? And he had a, had a proper laugh about it. And then he said, essentially saying that it's a sign of his quality of the way he's managed this last period. He said it's always very difficult when you have an important player and you know very well that during the season there are different periods and sometimes you have a lot of confidence and everything you try to do on the pitch you're able to do, and sometimes the confidence can go down. But the important player, the top player, is good at managing this moment. And with Sonny, you're talking about a really, really good player who is really, really top. An important player, but at the same time a good person. He suffers if the performance is not good, but especially if we don't get 3 points. I think this must be our first thing. Not to think to yourself, but to think for the team. I'm playing not so good, and it's a pity for the team, not only for yourself, But I repeat about him, he's an important player for us, and he showed today that he's an important player. And I've seen a lot of links between him, Harry, Kulusevski, and also with Lucas, Steven Bergwijn, and we're working a lot on that aspect. You can see that. Spurs are creating so many more chances. Their XG and all that sort of stuff must just be off the chart compared to where it was under Nuno. It has to be said, it's under Nuno. Sonny was excellent. It was superb, and it's lovely. I was watching some of his interviews after the game, not only with the club, but also he did a couple of kind of broadcast ones that I've seen as well, and he's just smiles on his face, and it's superb. It's great. He was at the end of the game, he's like a smiling assassin. He is. He's just such a happy, good guy, but he can kill you. As in, he can kill you as a team in an instant. So I'm going to stick with that. The smiling assassin. I like that. Interestingly, in that answer to me about Sonny, Conte also just unexpectedly and unprompted decided to also big up Dane Scarlett. So after he said that about, we're working on that aspect, he said, I'm seeing a lot of improvement today in Scarlett. Honestly, I have to tell you that. Seeing this guy is improving a lot. He's only 17 years old, but I can tell you that he's a really important prospect for Tottenham. He has to be patient and work behind these very important players and continue to work in this way. Because about Scarlett, I can tell you that I see a brilliant future for him. That's a huge pat on the back for Dane Scarlett, He's had that from Jose Mourinho as well last season, and now Antonio Conte. So two of the most trophy-laden managers in the game have both said, this kid's going to be utter class. And I love that. It was like, my question was just about Son. I didn't ask anything about Dane Scarlett. And I just presume that Dane's had a really good week in training, worked really hard. He's on the bench every week now, which is, in itself, is a big thing for a 17-year-old in the Premier League. Yes, we know it's partly because of Spurs' inability to sign another striker, but still, I thought that was a massively important pat on the back, and just to kind of remind him, look, don't worry, I know how good you are, and it's about you're gonna one day you're gonna be out there doing this kind of thing, and the Spurs fans are gonna be loving what you're doing, but you're 17, you've got Son and Kane ahead of you right now, so yeah, it'd be really interesting because if he is developing him behind the scenes, because obviously, Dane's he's very clever, young striker, very good finisher. He's just got to kind of work on his strength, his hold-up play. That's the sort of stuff he's got to work on, as all young strikers do. But if Conte is properly working with him and he gets a pre-season with him as well, who knows what kind of part he could play next season? He'll be 18, I think, by the time next season rolls around as well. Maybe a little bit more of a role to play. But that was big, a brilliant future. That was a really big comment.